I am absolutely baffled at what Charania just revealed on today's Pat McAfee show regarding the Kevin Durant trade saga, as it is now more likely than ever that the Houston Rockets will be the team to land Kevin Durant this offseason. We have so much to get to here on Rockets Digest. I'm happy you took the time out of your day to join us. I'm Jace Andrews, and if you're new here, we're covering the Houston Rockets daily, so hit that subscribe button. Okay, a little bit of backstory before we get into it. Last night on the ESPN pregame show, it was Game 5, Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder. But before that, Iman Shumpert was talking about Kevin Durant and talking about the San Antonio Spurs and how the Spurs would like to have KD. KD would like to be on the Spurs, the trade fit, and that would be the best place for Kevin Durant to end up. Well, while this was happening, a couple of people noticed Charania, also on this pregame show, start to kind of make a face at the camera. He was looking over at different shots, kind of being a little bit weary while Shumpert was talking. And that sparked a conversation throughout social media of why did he have to have this look? Why was this look being processed while Iman Shumpert was talking about Kevin Durant and specifically the San Antonio Spurs? Well, we got a little bit more of detail on this as on today's Pat McAfee show, when they brought up the discussion about Charania's kind of weird body language when he was talking about this, it brought up Kevin Durant. And first we go to the report that he says is the reason why he was looking so, let's say, flustered, saying, quote, "What I start thinking about is the possibility of Kevin Durant going to the Spurs. I'm gathering my surroundings. It's my first time on the show. I got to figure out, are they doing one-shots? Are they keeping it on us?" End quote. And so originally he blamed this, saying, okay, the reason I was looking around because it was my first time on the show. I was trying to look at what camera am I supposed to look at? Are there two shots? Are there one shots? What am I supposed to be doing? Instead of what Iman Shumpert was saying for this person. That's why the body language came out. However, this opened up a discussion about Kevin Durant and about the San Antonio Spurs, and it kind of sparked a little bit of a debate on social media. Now, first of all, we have to tell you this. Kevin Durant has two preferred trade destinations, according to sources. Obviously, there are about 4 or 5 teams vying for him. He wanted to go to the Knicks. The Knicks didn't really want him. Besides that, though, the 4 teams vying for him: Miami, Houston, San Antonio, and Minnesota. And of those 4, these are the 2 teams that he would like to join most, that being the San Antonio Spurs and, of course, our Houston Rockets. Now, the big thing that came out last night also was this, that according to the Athletic's Kelly Iko, out of Kevin Durant's preferred trade destinations, KD specifically wants to play for the Spurs. And so you're probably looking at this video saying, Jace, why in the world is it more likely then that the Houston Rockets will land Kevin Durant right now? It sounds like you're propaganding the Spurs to be the top team. Well, hold your horses, because there's a little bit more to Charania and what he said on Pat McAfee that shows that the Rockets are the favorite right now to land KD. And that's where we go deeper into this report. Charania on Pat McAfee saying, quote, "But I'm not going to lie, while this was going on, while Shump was making these points, I'm just thinking, as an insider, is this possible?" Obviously talking about, is it possible for Kevin Durant to be traded to the San Antonio Spurs, to have KD land on the team that he wants to land on? Well, he continued on saying, quote, this, "From all the conversations I'm having right now, all the information I have, it is that Miami, Houston, and Minnesota is where the focus of the Suns' conversation for Kevin Durant are," end quote. Okay, that is huge, because up until today, we really thought like the Spurs were the top team, possibly even the only team that would be able to land Kevin Durant in some aspects, because they were going to be the one that Kevin Durant wanted to play for. They were going to be the one that were going to give the offering price that the Suns wanted. But now the Suns aren't really talking to the San Antonio Spurs. Instead, they're talking to Miami. They're talking to Houston. They are talking to Minnesota. However, it has been brought up that Kevin Durant does not have any interest in playing for Minnesota. So in that aspect, if he was traded there, he probably wouldn't sign an extension. That's why Houston is such a big deal for him, because he would come here and he would sign that extension to end his career as a Houston Rocket. Now, this is obviously a big report here, but he also mentions a little bit more about the San Antonio Spurs and kind of what exactly their level of interest is. And you have it right here saying, quote, "The Spurs have had a level of interest. I mean, it's Kevin Durant. Who wouldn't? However, they are just not on that time that Miami may be on or Houston may be on," end quote. And what he's stating right here is that while the San Antonio Spurs have a lot of talent, trading for De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, Jeremy Shohan, there was a lot of good players on the San Antonio Spurs, they just aren't to the level of capability for the next 2-3 seasons as the Houston Rockets are, as the Miami Heat are. If Kevin Durant were traded to one of those two teams, there's a very likely chance that one of those two teams would end up in the conference finals at least within the next 3 seasons. And that's not to say the San Antonio Spurs wouldn't do that with Kevin Durant, but the Spurs have a larger timeline in mind. They have a timeline of, we want to be sustained dynasty. We want to be good for a long time. We have Victor Wembanyama, one of the up-and-coming superstars on our team. We want to be good for longer. And so for that reason, we're not pursuing Kevin Durant as much as maybe these other teams are. Now, credit to Charania, he went on to talk about the Houston Rockets and say that Ime Udoka is a good coach and a coach that Kevin Durant would like to play for. The Houston Rockets, who just went to the playoffs, have all the necessary pieces to not only make this trade, but also be successful with Kevin Durant on their team right away. And that is obviously a huge thing, not only for Kevin Durant, but for this trade package to work, because the Suns are not just going to go out there and say, hey, Kevin, where do you want to play for? We'll trade you there. No, they are focusing their conversations on teams that will give them a good package in return as well. And why wouldn't they? Because right now, Kevin Durant is the premier trade package on the block, as it's looking like that maybe Giannis isn't going to be traded after all. And KD, he is the creme de la creme of this offseason now. Going into his age 37 season, the people who want Kevin Durant are calling him 36 years old. The people who don't want Kevin Durant are calling him 38 years old. I don't care what you call him, as long as you call him good, because this guy is absolutely phenomenal at the game of basketball, and I really wish people would give more credit to the Houston Rockets for pursuing Kevin Durant. I understand there are opinions out there on if Kevin Durant will help, and if the Rockets should go after him, or if they should keep their players, if they should keep their picks and try and create a sustained dynasty, which I think they can be done while trading for Kevin Durant. Just because they trade for KD does not mean they can't create a sustained dynasty. You're still going to have a lot of your picks. You're still going to have a lot of your talent. It was reported that the Rockets are not shopping Amen Thompson in this deal, and they're not shopping Alperen Şengün in this deal. As of right now, the deal for the Houston Rockets is Jalen Green and the number 10 overall pick, which is exactly why the pieces are not there yet for a Kevin Durant trade. While reports came out a couple days ago saying that KD was likely to be traded in 72 hours or even before this week, it's not looking as likely anymore. And so that kind of creates for an interesting discussion. And Charania, who obviously talked a lot, Rockets and Miami, Minnesota, those are the teams. Well, he continued and even maybe pushed it down a little bit more, saying the Rockets and the Heat are more realistic as of right now for Kevin Durant than the Spurs, end quote. And so that's where I take you back to the report. Kevin Durant prefers to play for the San Antonio Spurs. That is his preferred trade destination. However, the Suns also have a bid and where KD is traded. And you go back a pick. Okay, Kevin Durant's two preferred trade destinations are the Spurs and the Rockets. So in this case scenario, if the Spurs are out or not making as competitive as a package as the Houston Rockets, then the Rockets just became the top team to land Kevin Durant. Now, their odds have certainly increased. I don't have the picture here, but the Rockets at 1.4 or 5 days ago were plus 750 to get Kevin Durant, while the Spurs were plus 220. It's now shrinkened. The Spurs are plus 220 still, but the Rockets are now plus 300 to land KD. And that's a big thing for a multitude of reasons, but it's obviously huge when you talk about that the Spurs are not putting together as a competitive offer as the Houston Rockets, or for that matter, pretty much most of the other teams in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. And Charania continues on saying, quote, the players that it would take to get a deal done, the draft capital it would take to get a deal done, Houston, Miami, and Minnesota are a little bit more motivated than the San Antonio Spurs, end quote. So right now, as it stands, if I was going to tell you who is the favorite to land Kevin Durant based on the three parties involved, which is Kevin Durant and his business partner, the Phoenix Suns, and the Houston Rockets, I'm thinking that it's going to be the Rockets, because there has to be three parties, and it's the Suns, Kevin Durant, and the opposing team, or the team that he's being traded to. Right now, the Rockets look to be that team. They look to be the team that is most likely to go out there and make that deal. And that's where the question comes in for the Houston Rockets. Is this a trade you're willing to make? Is this a trade that you're wanting to do? And so, if you're Rafael Stone, would you accept this trade? Jalen Green, number 10 pick, and you get Kevin Durant back. I'm taking that trade every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. Now, there is a last report that I'm going to throw in here before we let you go. I mentioned Jalen Green. I mentioned number 10 overall pick. That is what the Rockets have been offering to the Phoenix Suns right now. They have, honestly, the Phoenix Suns have been really, hurt's not the right word, but unexpectedly been lowballed in some ways, I think, in their eyes. I think everybody else is like, we know that Kevin Durant is 37 years old. We're not going to give you everybody for him. And so the Phoenix Suns, they've been underwhelmed by these offers. And so that's where we get to this last report from AP Hoops saying a Kevin Durant trade with the Houston Rockets or Miami Heat is a piece or two away from happening. Once again, this was Charania on the Pat McAfee show this morning. And so what is that piece? Is that piece a Jabari Smith Jr. from the Houston Rockets? Is that piece more picks? Honestly, right now, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm holding still because obviously no one else is going to beat your offer at this current moment in time. Your offer stands to be at the top with pick this year, which is what the Phoenix Suns want. They want their pick this year, and you have that. And they want a player they can build off. And they've talked about potentially trading Jalen Green, which could then get them more picks. Whereas if you're trading with Miami, if you're trading with San Antonio, maybe they're not going to shop those players. Maybe those players are going to be staying there. So there's a bunch of different things for the Phoenix Suns to consider. But if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm not budging at this current moment. If the Phoenix Suns come back to me and say, hey, we have a trade on the table with Miami to get Kevin Durant, we like the deal, what's your final offer? Maybe then I'm throwing in Jabari. I'm throwing in some more picks. But as of right now, the timeline is on the Phoenix Suns. They want a pick in this year's draft. You have the number 10 pick. The Spurs are not trading them the number 2 pick. You are right now one of the best offers. You just have to sit, wait, and let the Suns sit there and become increasingly ready to make a trade. Because once they hit that point of it is 2 days away from the NBA draft, let's make a trade, that's when it will happen, and that's when the Rockets are the top team to land KD. Well, I appreciate all of you watching. Obviously, if you made it to the end of the video, I certainly appreciate you extra. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are new. Let me know in the comment section what you're thinking about all this. Do you want KD? Do you not? What's a trade package you would like to have? There's so much to talk about when it comes to Kevin Durant. And honestly, that's why we've been there's been so many reports and why we've been reporting so much on it, because right now it's the talk of the NBA, especially with the NBA Finals still going on, free agency still about half a month away. This is the topic to talk about. But for now, Rockets fans, we appreciate you, and we'll say peace out from H-Town.